I haven't done a Friday face video in a while, so I thought I'd do one now. I got my camera up and running. Let's see if it works. This time we'll talk a little bit more about spirituality and what it is by prefacing it with what it isn't. If you're a non-Christian, and if you're a baby Christian, you mistake morality for spirituality. The two are entirely different. Morality is a gift to the human race so that you can have a good life down here. Morality is needed for the preservation of the human race. And pretty much everybody is at least partly moral for that reason. We learn very early on to be a good girl or boy in order to get goodies. If you do this good thing, Johnny, you get 25 cents if you take out the trash. And we learn to be very legalistic about what we do that's good. So obviously morality is arrogance also. In other words, morality of itself is like food that's good for you. You eat it and you get benefited. You act like a good person, you get benefited. If you eat bad food, your health hurts. If you act immoral, you get hurt in here. Your ability to think, your ability to be competent, your ability to enjoy life, all depends on how moral you are. But if you credit yourself as being a good boy or girl, and you deserve to get those good things that you get, because that's a lie. You get it because it benefits you. You don't get it because you deserve it. You get it because you did the thing you needed to do to benefit you. That's the truth. But if you arrogantly say, oh, I did this good deed, and therefore I'm a good person, then you're not going to be happy up here. Because once you equate the good deed you do with being a good person, that's the same mistake the woman made in Genesis 3. Once you equate those two, you have denied yourself the truth that the thing itself is benefiting you. And therefore you will constantly, it starts a little habit of constantly gauging your own personal worth by the good deeds you do. And you will tie yourself up in knots. There will always be somebody who's doing a better good deed than you did. And therefore you will always go through insecurity inside your head. And you will never enjoy any good thing you get. That's the dark side of morality. That's what's wrong, for example, in Judaism, in the Talmud. Everything in the Talmud is about merit. That's why the Talmud is complete trash. But it's not just the Talmud. It's Islam. It's Hinduism. Hinduism is based on your next life being better because you were a good girl or a good boy down here. That's all Genesis 3, Satan's temptation to the woman. It's all the same thing. It has nothing whatsoever to do with God because it's an arrogant use of morality. The same thing is true in Christianity. Baby Christians, carnal Christians, sell morality as a spiritual life because they're saying you're a good person if you are moral. That is a fundamental falsehood. If you're moral, you're benefited because God designed it that way so you'd have a good life down here. It has nothing to do with you deserving anything good. It has to do with A, leading to B. A, you live a moral life. B, good things follow. God joined those two together so that you can have a happy life down here. The B has nothing to do with you being a good person. It has to do with following the prescription of morality so you can have a good life. But if instead of B, you substitute C, see yourself, then you just denied the B of benefit to you. And therefore you're living a lie. Therefore you will never know God. You will never know spirituality. So morality has nothing whatsoever to do with God. It has to do with getting benefit out of this body, BB, down here. It has nothing to do with you being a good person or a bad person. It has nothing to do with you getting saved or unsaved. It has nothing to do with you learning God and growing up spiritually at all. It has only to do with getting a happy life down here. And the minute you start equating your goodness as a person with your morality, and you link those two up here, you have destroyed your happiness. You have destroyed any possibility of a spiritual life, because you're doing the same thing that the woman did in the garden. Because what did Satan say in the garden? If you do something, if you eat this fruit, you will become something. Something you do makes you become something. If you eat this fruit, you will become like God. That was the temptation to her. Something she does makes her become something. See, that's the link right here. And you know which finger I'm using. Yeah, and you get screwed if you buy into that lie. And that's what religion sells. In the next segment, we'll talk about what spirituality is, now that we know it can't be morality.